Peace be with you. Why is it important for people who call themselves Muslims to actually know what God has revealed in the Quran? And why is it important for them to put that into practice with sincerity? The enemies of Islam, people who hate what God has revealed, will use people who are ignorant or will use people who are hypocrites in order to make Islam look like something ugly, like something that people should be afraid of. You will be used as a weapon against Islam. If you are a person who is ignorant, you don't know what God wants from you. Number one, you can't do what God wants. And number two, you can even easily be misled. There are several cases where people pretend to be Muslims and espouse extreme ideologies that have no relevance, no connection to Islam whatsoever, but they claim it's from Allah. They claim it's from God when it's not from God. And people who are ignorant, who have never actually studied the Quran, they believe them and they go on and do all kinds of evil things, extreme things. They kill people. And then their friends, people who are waiting for you to do something so stupid, they make videos of that and then they tell everybody else, look, this is how vile these Muslims are. Same thing for people who are hypocrites. People who may know what God has revealed, but they don't do it. They are in constant disobedience to God. Not just one mistake and then you reform. But people who are fasiqun, they are defiantly disobedient to God. You know what God wants you to do and you keep doing other things. The enemies of Islam will also use you as an example of Islam to show people who are ignorant of what true Muslims are like. They're not going to show them true Muslims. People who help the poor, who are kind, who are patient, who are honest. No, they're going to use you to show the rest of the world how Islam is, except you are the hypocrite and you have no connection to Islam whatsoever through your behavior, but they are using you as a poster child for Islam so they can demonize Islam and turn others from it. So if you are a person who call yourself a Muslim, know that ignorance is inexcusable. Ignorance is a part of hypocrisy according to the Quran. God says that the desert Arabs are most severe in their hypocrisy and least likely to know what the limits of God and His Messenger are. Ignorance. Hypocrites are ignorance. Hypocrites can't claim to be Muslims, but they don't even want to know what God wants from them. They don't study the Quran, and they can be easily misguided. And the other hypocrites, people who know what God wants from them, but they don't do it, they're people who are fasiqun, who are defiantly disobedient to God. Their pattern of life is that of disobedience to God. Well, you too are used as an example. When there was a mass assault of women in Germany several years ago by so-called Muslim Afghan refugees, all the news media used that as an example of Islam. Not of hypocrisy, not of nifaq, but of Islam. You are hurting your own communities and you are destroying your own souls. God says that for the hypocrites is the lowest stage of the fire. It will be probably better for you if you claim to be disbelievers, because hypocrites get it even worse. This is why it is important for every person that calls himself a Muslim to know what God has revealed, so you are protected against being misguided, so you are protected against being manipulated. And why is it important to actually take that knowledge and put it into practice? Because if you don't, you are closing the door to Islam for millions of people and helping the enemies of Islam, helping the people who hate what God has revealed to misrepresent Islam, to paint an ugly picture, and thus keep it away from everybody else. Peace be with you. I hope you wake up.